Hello guys, welcome to Doc's Coffee YouTube channel. Today we are going to tell about cardiac axis and axis deviation. Cardiac axis refers to the general direction of depolarization wave which begins at sinoatrial node, traveling to AV node, then to bundle of His and Purkinje fibers to complete an electrical cardiac cycle.
QRS axis. Determining electrical axis gives insight into underlying disease states and helps state the differential diagnosis towards or away from certain diagnosis. So to understand it easily, I am explaining you in a simplified manner. In an ECG, the waves above the baseline suggest they are in positive deflection, and the waves below the baseline shows you they are in negative deflection. Here, coming to first ECG image, you can see the most part of the QRS complex is above the baseline, showing you positive deflection, which is marked with red color circle denotes R wave, and the minimal part of the QRS complex is below the baseline, shows you negative deflection, which is marked with blue color circle denotes S wave. Here the height of R wave is more than the depth of S wave, hence it is positive QRS complex. And in the second ECG image, you can see the height of R wave and the depth of S wave are equal. Hence it is isoelectric QRS complex. In the third ECG image, you can see the depth of S wave is more than the height of R wave. Hence it is negative QRS complex.
Electrical axis classification. In the left bottom picture, you can notice that if the QRS axis is in between minus 30 degree to plus 90 degree, it is normal axis. Right side to that normal, right axis deviation. That is, if the QRS axis is between plus 90 to 180 degrees, it is right axis deviation. Left to the normal, if the QRS axis is in between minus 30 degree to minus 90 degree, it is left axis deviation. If the QRS axis is in between minus 90 to 180, it is extreme axis deviation. It is also known as northwest axis. Indeterminate axis is if QRS complex is isoelectric or equiphasic in all LEDs with no dominant QRS deflection, it is considered an indeterminate axis. Coming to the right picture, axis deviation. If the QRS complex in LED1 and LED2 is positive, it is normal axis. If the QRS complex is positive in LED1 and negative in LED2, it is left axis deviation. If the QRS complex is negative in LED1 and positive in LED2, it is right axis deviation.
See, the axis can be find out by comparing between LED1 and LED2 or LED1 and LED AVF. So here the QRS complex in LED1 is in positive deflection and the QRS complex in LED2 is also positive deflection, shows you normal axis. The second comparison is in LED1 the QRS complex is in positive deflection and in LED AVF also the QRS complex is in positive deflection, shows you normal axis. So here you can see the QRS complex in LED1 is in negative deflection and the QRS complex in LED AVF is in positive deflection, showing you it is right axis deviation. Here in LED2, the QRS complex is in equiphasic, so I am comparing only LED1 and LED AVF, showing you right axis deviation. This you can remember with a mnemonic right reaches. So if you place the ECG of LED AVF under the ECG of LED1, you can see the both QRS complexes tries to reach together. Hence, you can remember right axis deviation as right reaches.
Coming to left axis deviation. In this ECG, you can notice that the QRS complex in LED1 is positive and QRS complex in LED2 and LED AVF it is negative, suggesting it as left axis deviation. So to memorize it, you can memorize it as left axis deviation as left leaves. So the QRS complex in lead 1 and lead 2 are leaving each other. Hence, left leaves as left axis deviation. Extreme axis deviation. The QRS complex in lead 1 is negative and lead 2 is negative. The other comparison, the QRS complex in lead 1 is negative and lead AVF is negative, suggesting as extreme axis deviation.
Causes of left axis deviation. First three causes accounts for almost 90% of ECG tracings with left axis deviation. There is normal variation, physiologic or often related to age. In conduction defects, left anterior fascicular block. Left ventricular hypertrophy. Rarely the axis is normal in LVH. Even left bundle branch block. Mechanical shift of heart into chest as in emphysema prior chest surgery. Inferior MI, pre-excitation syndrome, Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. In congenital heart disease, primum atrial septal defect, endocardial cushion defect. In hyperkalemia and pacemaker rhythm. In all this, you can see left axis deviation.
Causes of right axis deviation. It can be a normal variant in children and young adults. In case of limb-led reversal, right ventricular hypertrophy, right ventricular overload syndromes, it can be acute or chronic. Lateral wall MI. In conduction defects, right bundle branch block, left posterior fascicular block. Mechanical shift, like in with inspiration or emphysema. Pre-excitation syndrome like Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. Ventricular ectopic rhythms like ventricular tachycardia. Congenital heart disease like secondum atrial septal defect. Dextrocardia. In all these cases, right axis deviation can be seen. In summary, so the QRS axis in lead 1 is positive and QRS axis in lead 2 and AVF is positive. It is normal axis. If the QRS axis is positive in lead 1 and negative in lead 2 or AVF, it is left axis deviation. If the QRS axis is negative in lead 1 and positive in lead 2 or AVF, it is right axis deviation. If the QRS axis is negative in lead 1 and lead 2 or AVF, it is extreme axis deviation.
Thank you.
If you feel this video is informative, like it,
Share with your friends.
subscribe for more videos.